Okay, hello, welcome back to the Football and Down. Obviously, we're joined by Adam as well.
Yep.
Transfer deadline day, been a busy one, and it continues to get busy as well. I think we're still hearing there could be one player in, an extra player in yet to go, and maybe who knows, maybe even possibly a third one. But we've got our first one in. I'm sure you've seen that one before, haven't you, Adam?
Yeah, Brad Hills, I think it's.
Brad Hills, yeah, part of that Accrington side, which of course came to Edgeley Park near the back end of last season. We actually lifted the title on the day
Mm.
that he was at Edgeley Park,
Yeah, a bit
which
before too.
he spoke about it in his interview when signing for the club. I've not seen all of it, but I saw that bit of it. What are your thoughts on that one? He's a young centre back, not played loads of football at professional level other than last
Mm.
season at Accrington.
I mean, it must be quite promising. It does seem promising anyway. I think did he sign a new contract extension at Norwich, and he's going on
Yeah,
loan again.
yeah. So I was live earlier and I said that possibly his contract could have been up because it said he signed one in 2022, a 3-year deal.
Mm.
So I thought his contract could be up this summer with the possibility of maybe us signing him on a free transfer. But
Yeah,
someone quite rightly pointed out actually in the comments
no, we don't know.
on the previous one that he has in fact signed a new deal before going out on loan to
Yeah,
County for the rest of the season. So it's an interesting one. Um, comments already. Um,
there you go. Lewis, is that good enough for you? Oh
I
God,
think he has
that's
got
something
to
like
turn
that.
his light on. Yeah,
There
well,
we go.
don't turn him off is what I would say. That'd be dreadful.
You said it was better than before.
It was better. Yeah, the lighting's better than it has been before, but it still probably requires improvement. A bit like Stockport County's transfer window. Let's be honest, because as good as it is that we brought in a centre back, it was a needed position. It was kind of a problem we gave ourselves really because it probably wasn't one before loaning out Sam Hughes. I
No,
question
I don't
whether or
really know.
not the move of bringing in Brad Hills is one that will, you know, is it really an upgrade on Sam Hughes? I'm not sure.
Mm.
We'll have to wait and see. I suppose with that one. But what I would say is he's not played a lot of football. That is a bit of a concern for me personally. That he's only played a handful of games at Norwich, and obviously
Mm.
played those games at Accrington last season. Did get the supporters player of the season as well. But don't get too carried away because Sam Hughes had a similar thing at Burton, and look
Yeah,
how that's gone for him at County. And yeah, I think
not had the
the
chance.
thing is we had to bring in a centre back. We brought one in, but everyone's looking for that centre forward or certainly an attack-minded player to come in. I'll be honest, I thought we would have had that by now. It's just obviously gone past 9 o'clock. The window does close at 11. There's still hints that we could see another player in. They kind of said it in the statement as well, didn't they? They said it's our first signing of deadline day.
Yeah,
Um,
so they've got a bit more.
yeah, I mean, how much have you been following it?
I've been checking up like every hour whatnot.
Yeah,
But just with like all the deadline day stuff, not just with Stockport, just the same, like with everything across Europe. Fabrizio and David Ornstein are in for a busy night.
yeah, a lot going on, a lot going on. Also, the Chelsea West Ham game as well is also on at the same time. Must be a pain in the ass for those if they're looking to do business. Can't be easy.
Mm,
Um, Jack Stretton. Jack Stretton's left mutual
mm.
termination of his contract. Obviously, I think he signed a new deal in the summer and then went out on loan to a couple of teams. I think it didn't really work out.
Woking.
Yeah. Did he go on loan to Oldham? I feel like he went on loan to Oldham. I could be wrong.
Mm,
Um, but anyway, it's not worked out. He's come back and obviously he's had his contract terminated or mutual agreement, however you want to look at it.
yeah.
What are your thoughts on that one? Obviously, had a loan spell at the club before signing for us permanently. Got that goal against Salford. Didn't really, obviously, injuries as well as affected him. But how do you feel about him sort of moving on?
Kind of sad to be honest, especially if you see his contract is mutually terminated. That must mean like both parties reach agreement like that he just wanted out. Like or County just said like, yeah, there's no place for you in the team at the minute, which is sad because it'll always be remembered. Well, it'll probably be like not a cult era, but it'll always be remembered for that Salford equaliser. I know I definitely will because I flung down about 2 rows in celebration. My hat went flying off halfway down UT3, but I
Yeah,
was mad. But yeah, everyone loves him for that.
yeah. I don't think it's ended acrimoniously. I think is the word.
Nah.
I think it has ended on good terms, well, as good as terms as it can do, and it's a mutual agreement on the last couple of hours of deadline day. Panini said, got to be realistic now. We've had all month to bring players in. Mika is a lackluster signing, lackluster loaning We need Hill, but we put ourselves in that position to bring him in. And I've got to say, I do agree with him on that. Mika Hamilton hasn't looked great. Obviously, we saw in the game on Saturday, he had a chance to sort of counter in that second half, pass the ball straight to the opposition pretty much. And obviously, we did give ourselves that problem by loaning Hughes out, and we've had to bring in Hill. But really, if that's all we do, it feels a little bit like we've, a little bit underwhelming, I think. What are your thoughts on Mika Hamilton as well? Obviously, coming on loan, that loads of minutes.
No, not loads of minutes, but he's not. What was it, like 13 games for Middlesbrough, not got a goal or assist?
Yeah.
Was it?
I mean Michael Carrick's gone.
Yeah, I mean, there must be a player in him, but I mean, he's got in the Champions League, but I don't know. It might just take him some time to find his feet, but we'll see in the next sort of month or so if he is actually up to the test.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I would say is Michael Carrick's proven to be quite a decent manager for Middlesbrough in recent seasons, and he probably won't let good players go if he really feels he needs to hold on to him. So it does feel like a player which he's happy to sort of let go. He's obviously allowed him to go out on loan. I just sort of think, is he up to the level? We had it with Rico Richards last January, sort of came in.
Yeah.
It was a little bit hit and miss. He had one or two good games, one or two good moments, but for the most part, it was a bit of an underwhelming loan
I mean,
signing.
the Edge of the Park was thinking of signing him up at the when they were crowning champions.
Yeah, but it was a little bit. It wasn't the best signing, though, was it? Overall, if you look at it, I think that was probably more just caught up in the hype of it.
No, far from worst that signing.
Yeah. He's not been our worst, but it was a little bit underwhelming. It probably didn't have the impact we were hoping it would. I fear the same with Mika Hamilton. Obviously, Stretton's gone since Benoni Brecky Anderson's signed. He's not been able to even get on the bench, so it does kind of make sense. Lee Woodwiss is saying who has come in. Obviously, we have Brad Hills has signed from. I keep saying Ben. I'm thinking of Ben Godfrey. That's the problem. Brad Hills has signed from Norwich on loan till the end of the season. We've not had any other players come in since then. We were hoping to have maybe another player in by now, but it doesn't look to be the case. I am confident there will be a player in the door though before the window closes. I do think it will be a centre forward, if not certainly an attacking minded player. The question is whether or not it'll be a third signing to follow. Panini's just said, not saying he's been bad, but it's more to do with the feel factor of a signing. I'm guessing he's talking about Mika Hamilton.
Yeah.
So this is where we're kind of at. So obviously Stretton's moved on. There's a little bit of talk about Adai as well moving on at the beginning of the day. That hasn't materialised.
No.
What would your thoughts have been on Adai had he gone out on loan or possibly even on a permanent?
We were chatting about it earlier with a messenger, weren't we? Like it's seeing it. Obviously, like Adai now he's just seen as the backup keeper, which is kind of a shame because I mean he showed, especially at Crawley last season, he showed he can be like a starting keeper. I did give him a chance, but I mean I'm actually glad that he's not gone out on loan because we've done Hinchliffe and Adai, then who have we got? We've got like inexperienced keepers like Metcalf or Kogan and whatnot. And if we loaned out Adai, if something happened to Ben, we'd have to rely on them, like bloody inexperienced keepers, and that's a risk, especially when we're vying for promotion.
Yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? Where from Adai's point of view, if I'm Adai, I'm thinking get me out on loan, get me playing football because there's no cup games. I'm not going to be playing football unless, as you say, Hinchliffe gets injured. I wonder what the plan is with sort of Adai going forward because he's not going to go out on loan now. It doesn't look like he's not going to leave till at least the summer. Obviously, Ben Hinchliffe is the number one goalkeeper. I can't see that changing between sort of now and the end of the season. Is the plan, do you think, still for Adai to become the number one next season? Do you think he'll get that opportunity?
I'm not sure. It could just be like, I mean, we've seen it a couple of seasons in a row now where we bring in a new keeper to be like a starting keeper. Something happens to them, whether it's like they get injured or they don't play well, and then Ben takes back the role. It could be another one of that for all we know. But I mean, you never say never, really.
The thing is, the Ben can't play forever. I think he's got probably 2 more seasons in him max as well. So, what is he, 37 now? So he's not going to play forever. It felt to me like the natural replacement would have been Adai, sort of Ben Hinchliffe staying a couple more years, sort of maybe back up to him, help him settle in, and then Adai sort of taking the gloves and becoming the new #1 goalkeeper. But I don't think the fans really got behind it early on either, which I think has made the decision easier for Challinor to make. But since he's come in the other games since, I'm talking about sort of the cup games, the Palace game, where I thought he did quite well. It was a change in formation which I think's helped the team more than anything at the back. Not just necessarily the goalkeeping change, but it'd be interesting to see what happens. Stuart's saying Corey is not going to get the games. He is not good enough. Well, at the moment, it looks like Dave Challinor has the same opinion as that, because he's not given him the opportunity in the league since, what was it, November, October, when he made the change.
It was October, well, at Lincoln away, when he did that.
Yeah, well, he changed him for that game, and then he kept him in the side.
Yeah, it was one game where he continued. Another game after that where it was like we started him again, and then since then it's been all then.
Yeah, it was the Wickham game, wasn't it? It was his last game, I think, as #1 goalkeeper. We lost obviously 5-0. Ben went in goal for the Bolton game on the Saturday, and then since then it's been all Ben. Panini says, "How can you judge Adai on a handful of games?"
It's a bit more than a handful.
Yeah, some would say he made a handful of errors in that time as well. I'm not one of those, but I think everyone knows who watches this channel. I backed.
You're part of the Adai Defenders Club.
Yeah, call it what you want. I just think as good as Hinchcliffe's been, you've got to at some point make the change. And there was a lot of resistance to that change, and I think ultimately that's going to be very difficult, because one day Hinchcliffe will have to move on. Someone else will have to come in and take the gloves off him, and the fans need to get behind that if and when that happens. And obviously it's not worked out for Adai yet. It's not over for him by any means, but it does feel at the moment like it's going to be very difficult for him to get back into the side. And I must say that is testament to performances of Hinchcliffe as well. I have to give him credit there, because I think some people who watch this think, I don't like Hinchcliffe. I do. I think he's been a fantastic servant for the club. But I also look at it and go, Adai was meant to come in as #1, and I felt like we should have supported that.
The thing that I feel like the thing that fan base has with Ben over Adai, they just, well, it might just be biased as well because he's a county legend, but the thing with Ben over Adai is it's just his shot stopping. It's easy to see he's a better shot stopper, but Adai was brought in to play out from the back. That's what Challinor wanted to do.
Yeah.
And he is better from playing out from the back than Hinchcliffe. Hinchcliffe's kicking has never been great, but that is way more risky, as we've seen. Like, it can lead to way more errors.
Yeah, so that's where we're at with Adai. Was talking of him going out. That now isn't going to happen. Then, of course, we had the news about Brad Hills. We spoke about that briefly, and then we've had something from Sam Byrne to say. This was about 40 minutes ago now, actually. Last one to clarify, as not happening, is Caden Kelly, who has been linked with from Sunderland, having been on loan Darlington. Not a case of anything having fallen through either way. By the way, just not one that was ever on. So basically, Caden Kelly had been rumoured with a move to County late last night, but it appears they were just rumours. There was never anything in it. It's not fallen through because we were never in for him. But he also ended that tweet by saying, still anticipate a busy couple of hours. Obviously, we're almost an hour on from that tweet being made, down that post being put out.
I'm going to be checking his account so much.
Yeah, I think we all will. All County fans will be doing that. But that sounds to me like there's going to be, when he says still a busy couple of hours to go yet, basically, that made me think there might be more than one. If it is just one that comes in between now and the deadline finishing, what position do you think Challinor will look to prioritise? Do you think it will be that centre forward, or do you think it'll be maybe a different position?
I really hope it is a centre forward. I think we all do, but do you watch now? It's going to be a bloody right winger or something. That can't even pull something they'll completely throw a curveball. I mean, did you see that stupid kind of? I think it was just a mock tweet, but someone said earlier County linked with Nemanja Bilbia from the Bosnian league. I think that's just taking the piss, really. It's not actually serious.
Thank God you pronounced it, because I didn't fancy my chances with it. I did see that. Yeah, I'm never going to get used to saying that name. I'm
a geography nerd, Rob.
It's an interesting one. I think it is just one that's literally just been pulled out the hat. There's a name. Let's link him to County.
I remember him being in the Bundesliga.
He's quite an old striker as well, 33, 34 years of age.
I swear he's a winger.
I don't know. Well, my point is, I think he's an older player. I think from what I've heard, I've not even googled him. I'll be honest. Panini said Nemanja Woe.
No United chance on this.
Oh yeah, I see what he's done there. Yeah, I'm not saying that bit. It'd be more of a Wrexham signing by all accounts anyway.
Oh,
Lee Woodwis has said who you recommended to come in as a striker. Is there anyone you would have gone for if you were Dave Chalner or Simon Wilson?
I'm not like as clued up on all the sort of lower league strikers as other people are. But I don't know. Langstaff would have been a good one, especially because when he was at Notts, then he was proper good. But
I think
other than that, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure was he Carl Wotton's replacement at Notts County when we signed Wotton?
Was he, or did he play alongside him? I can't remember.
He might have done. But
I'm not sure.
Yeah, sorry. I think everyone's said Langstaff, haven't they? And we were hopeful of that. I actually thought there was a chance we could have done that going into this deadline day today. But Sam Byrne said earlier that's not going to happen. So that's slightly disappointing. What I would say on that is, given that we're sort of hyping up this final transfer and it's going to go to the last hour or so, it's got to be a good transfer. It's got to be almost a marquee type sign, I think, to justify it. Because if it's just a sort of backup player now or a young player which hasn't got many minutes under its belt, it's going to feel very underwhelming. And I actually think people are going to get quite angry. Not angry, but disappointed.
I've actually just thought of someone like striker. It wouldn't happen, but it's because I've been speaking to my dad. It's pretty funny. He said that Ricky J. Jones at Peterborough, who's a really quite promising like young striker, proper quick. He's kind of like an Alafe kind of player. He said that he's out of contract in summer. So if we got him now, we'd be able to get him sort of like, I guess, on the cheap. But my dad also did say that County wouldn't be able to afford him. Peterborough would put a high price tag on him.
Yeah, interesting thoughts on that one. I mean, there's a question itself, isn't there? I've asked you about striker. What type of striker do you think County should be looking to go for? Because you can go down the target man route like Wotton, or you can go down, as you say, the more sort of a Laffy type route where you got someone with pace to run in behind.
I'm not. I don't really know what I don't know. I'm not clued up with tactics, really. But you're better clued up in tactics more than me. But I'm not sure what Challoner would want. So, like, if we brought in a striker, I'm not really sure what Challoner would actually go with, because he'd want someone to fit what the role that he would want from them. So it would all depend on Challoner's mindset.
I mean, I get the feeling with Benoni, Brecky Anderson, he looks like he could fit into that more sort of. He could be more of a target man type player. I'm not sure, but so if that is the case, then we probably are sort of looking at someone who's going to come in and play more as a sort of a striker to sort of run off Wotton or possibly Benoni. We'll have to wait and see with that one. With Stretton gone, it has to be a striker. Well, that's what we've all been saying. I actually asked Sam Byrne about that on X earlier when he said about Stretton leaving, and I said, well, does that mean now that a striker will come in? And he said, well, not necessarily the case, because he hasn't been on the bench or been involved much anyway, but he didn't really seem to rule out the idea of a striker, and I think everything indicates towards us bringing in a striker. Stuart Ryan says we need a runner. I 100% agree with that one. Panini says that Ricky J. Jones won't leave. Posh won't want to sell, given where they are in the league. 100% agree with that one. What I would say to that is we have already done business with Peterborough in this window, with Sam Hughes obviously going out on loan there to the end of the season. Just want to sort of get through some of these comments, because I did miss one earlier. Stuart also said, I noticed in your earlier live chat that you seem to have accepted my way of thinking about promotion next season. It's too soon this season. What are your thoughts on that one? Do you think that, a little bit maybe like the sort of 22-23 season where we sort of challenged first season in League Two, got the playoffs, and obviously went on the season after as champions? Do you think we should be looking to take more of that sort of approach this season as well?
Yeah, and I think so, and I can imagine it going that way. I mean, promotion, I'm not going to say like, oh, I reckon we'll get promoted. If we get promoted, great, but at this moment in time, I imagine we'll probably go straight back down. So sometimes, even like you said, that 22-23 season, it was obviously Carlisle beat us in the playoff final, and then they went up, but they weren't prepared. They went straight back down, and look at them now. They're looking like to get relegated. Sometimes it is better to have time to prepare.
They've just sacked Mike Williamson, is it today? As well. And I think they've brought in a couple of players this window as well. So that does look like a panic from Carlisle for sure.
I don't know if he's piss taken, but my dad said they're in for Gerrard.
You never know. You never know. I mean, some of these managers that have gone, ex sort of legends of football almost that have gone into management hasn't necessarily gone their way. They are going to have to look down the leagues a little bit, I think, to get job opportunities, particularly in England. But I think it'd be a bit of a step down. Quite well, I think it'd be a bit too much of a step down for Gerrard to go to Carlisle. To be honest, I mean, let's not forget he did win the Scottish League with Rangers, and that is not a plain sailing thing because Celtic have dominated that over the last sort of 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
Hurstretton was linked with Cambridge before he left. Interesting. Well, we'll see what happens with that one. We face Cambridge as well in a couple of weeks. I think you're doing that one.
Yeah, I probably will do.
Yeah. Woot's not a pace man runner, but a target man. He is ideal. 100% agree with that one. Fine line between optimism and reality. Stock won't have the money for the championship. He's already said he'd be looking to sell if he went up. I think he'd be looking for investment if we went up too quick, but I think that brings its own challenges, doesn't it? With having partners as opposed to one sole owner.
Yeah, if we went up, we'd probably have to sell like Ethan Pye and whatnot. Like some of them are crucial players.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it? That's the problem. I think that you're looking at there's some players in that team that you think have real value. We've seen some teams high, sort of in the positions around us in the table go for good sums of money or been linked with moves, good sums of money. I mean, I'm not sure if that Wickham striker's made his way to Luton yet, but that was a 6 million bid on the table at one point. You look at Ethan Pye and you look at Lewis Bate, and I point out those two in particular, sort of young English players. They've got the ability to play in the Premier League. And I think Ethan Pye and Lewis Bate will probably both move on at some point. I think the important thing is that we command a good transfer fee if and when that happens.
Yeah, but there will be clubs willing to pay that though.
Well, I mean, they're going to have to pay the price, particularly if we tie him down to a good contract. That's the one thing I do have. The one concern I have about Ethan Pye is I don't think he's got particularly that sort of long left on his contract, so I'm a little bit worried about that. But
I thought he signed a new one.
Did he sign a new one? I think he's got maybe a year or so left on it.
Transfer market.
You can do that one. I'm checking if there's any signings.
Yeah, so
nothing as of yet. If Kone's worth 6 million and surely Pye has a decent price tag, Birmingham have ruined the league now for player prices. Probably have done, to be fair. I mean, there's a lot of money in all the leagues now, isn't there? If you look at
fucked up Brommies anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at what's his name, Middlesbrough striker, meant to be going to Leicester.
Latte Laugh, is it?
Latte Laugh, yeah, 12 million, I think. That's a
Latte, he's not a copy.
Yeah, Latte Laugh. Got your Wigan tickets? I've not got mine yet. Have you got yours?
Yeah, I got mine today.
Good. I'll be getting mine on general sale, hopefully. Fingers crossed. I mean, that's only a couple of weeks away, isn't it? Wigan away. Bristol, obviously, next away game as well. Lee Woodwist is saying, I'm not happy with Dave Challoner because he's not playing the foreign players. The foreign player.
Andresen.
Yeah. I thought he was coming down some Brexit route then. Yes, but on Ibrahim Anderson, I mean, I kind of have to agree with that. I don't know if I said it before. I feel like I've said lots of things to several different types of people over the last couple of days, but I think I was saying it to you during the game on Saturday. Wharton needed to come off. He looked absolutely exhausted. He ran himself into the ground. He put in a really good shift. He obviously got the goal as well, which was a big confidence boost for him, very much needed. He needed to come off, and Challoner just would not make the sub. He doesn't seem to trust his squad, and that's a problem that I have with him. Is that it's like Mika Hamilton. You brought him in. You've made a big effort to bring him in. You've got to give him more minutes. These players have to play. And he did it with the players that came in the summer as well. Fiorini sits on the bench, he never gets on, and then you loan him out. Sam Hughes, you brought him in, doesn't get minutes, then you loan him out. Jay Mingy, what's happened to him? He started the season incredibly at right back. He got an injury. He's sort of struggled to get back into the team. So a lot of these players that we brought in the summer haven't really worked out. They're not necessarily bad players, but I just don't think Challoner's put enough trust in them, which is strange because I'm assuming he's played a part in bringing them in. They just don't seem to be getting the opportunities to show what they can do, and I think that's a big problem. And I think we're seeing it in this January window as well.
And has he ever actually known his full starting 11 or his best starting 11? Because I'm not sure he has. He's always been changing it.
It does feel like that, doesn't it? And it does feel like a little bit like the three at the back, for example. It feels like we're settling on that. We don't really want to play it, but we're doing it at the moment because it's the best way we can set the team up to get results. How's Hughes doing at Borough? Do you know how he's doing? Any
I mean,
updates?
my dad said he did proper well. He was really impressed in the first game, and then they had recent games. I think it was when they lost 5-1 to Lincoln. He said he was absolutely shite, but again, everyone was. And they
I
lost
mean,
to
if
Bristol
you're losing
Rovers
5-1,
recently.
yeah, he got man the match in one of the games. I'm pretty sure. I think
Did
I
I?
heard. I don't know. I could be
Oh,
wrong
by the
though.
way, I got the Pie contract for you.
Have you? How long's that
Yeah,
for?
he
The
signed
contract?
it. Yeah, he signed a 3-year extension in May last year, so his contract is up in 2.5 years' time,
Oh,
2027.
that's decent, I suppose. That's decent. Uh, Panini said, "Big on Dave playing English folks." I mean, at this
All right, Fat
level,
Raj.
most of them are. They made him captain. Is that true? Did they make Hughes captain at Peterborough?
Have they? I wouldn't know, to be honest.
It's a big move if they have done. Labelled Wisser said he needs to play the foreign player. Yeah, but only Brecky Anderson. I just don't see it at this point in time. I don't see him getting the minutes, which is it's a strange one because again, he's brought this player in. They made a big effort to bring him in. It was actually done before the window opened, but they've not given him the minutes as of yet. Stuart's confirming, yeah, apparently he's captain at Peterborough, which is interesting.
All right,
Something that
we've gone straight away.
I said to you before that I wanted you to remind me of something, and you haven't.
Yeah,
I've remembered myself. It was a
good.
comment on one of the last videos. I think it was on the vlog. Comments on the vlog. I acknowledged it. I seen it, but I didn't reply to it because I was busy. And I didn't reply to it because I thought it's actually a really good point, and I'll bring it into this. So this came in from Nick. He's a regular commenter on the channel. He said one thing this season is County seem to struggle to have two good halves in the same game. Either
Yeah.
start like an express train and fade, or start and play like a dog's dinner and then recover it in the second half to mount a valiant comeback. I don't know. I don't know if this is a deliberate tactic to ease off in the second half or try to play at the start in a game in a reserved manner. Get my words out. I've lost it here. Or reserved manner, or not. My only theory is County don't play at full pelt for 90 minutes. Is after a review of all the player injuries sustained last season, the club's fitness and sports science experts concluded playing at full pelt for 90 minutes every week, sometimes twice a week, was the major contributing factor. So I think basically what Nick's saying there is we're not dominating games for long periods of time anymore. We used to maybe do that more last season. And I think he's suggesting that the injuries we had last season, we had a lot of injury problems. We've decided to play in a manner this season where we don't try and play full pelt for 90 minutes because we want to maintain the fitness of the players. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but what I would quickly say before I let you answer that is the fact that Challoner doesn't seem to trust his squad would kind of play into him not wanting to play full pelt because he doesn't want any injuries to the squad, because he doesn't want to play the squad players. So I just want to get your thoughts on that one. Do you think it is a deliberate tactic of Challoner to sort of not play full pelt for 90 minutes, or do you think it's just sort of happening by chance?
I get where you're coming from, and sometimes it does make sense, especially if you're like winning comfortably and whatnot. You can allow yourself to sit back a bit, take the gas off. But sometimes it just doesn't make sense. Why would you only play 45 minutes of a game? That's how I see it, anyway.
Yeah, I think the point he's making is it feels like we do that. We're good for one half or good for half an hour, and I think he sort of feels like that might be something to do with trying to maintain the fitness of the players, and say it would play into the fact that he wants to keep those players he has got as fit as possible because he doesn't want to use the bench. I don't think. Just an interesting thought, an interesting comment. I thought it was a good point to make, so I thought I'd bring it into this. So I didn't reply to it. I brought it into the show. It is actually disappointing because I felt Birmingham New Year's Day, awful first half followed by a brilliant second half, where in the end we probably could have ended up winning the game if we had a centre forward that was sort of clinical in front of goal. But then you've got other games like Crawley where great for half an hour, terrible for the rest of the game. So it's interesting, isn't it? We do seem to only be able to play well for certain periods of the game.
And we saw it late in Orient.
Yeah. Later on again, similar story with that one. I think the thing is, though, is I don't know if it is deliberate because I have also heard Dave Challoner being frustrated about that this season as well. So I think it must just be a case of maybe the players are managing their minutes, and not necessarily it being a message from the manager, but the players almost thinking I don't want to run myself into the ground. I'm not sure.
I mean, you know, sometimes it could just be the other team switching up their tactics for the better as well.
Yeah, there's that too. There might not be some deep thought into it, but I sort of appreciate the thought that was put into the comment anyway. So, have a feeling same will happen to Brad Hills and Dave Chalner won't start him. Yeah, we had this with Reece Bennett. We brought him in from United last January. He only played a handful of games. One of them I remember being the Tranmere game where we lost 4-0 at Prenton Park.
Yeah, and he was crap.
The first 2 or 3 minutes, I thought he was really good. Looked dominant in the air, looked like he wanted to win the headers, and it just fell apart. And it was horrendous.
That's why he scored against Grimsby when I went, and I was his only like good game for us like, overall.
I think that was Case. Lewis Case, I think, who brought him from Port Vale on loan.
Oh yeah, Lewis Cass. That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Cass. Yeah. But Reece Bennett came in, and he never got back in the team again after that Tranmere game, which I've always been harsh because a lot of the rest of the players weren't great that day, and they got back in. But anyway, that was in sort of March or whenever now, February, March last year. But I can move on now. We managed to go up as champions anyway. He needs to bring in a striker from the Championship or Premier League. What's at the odd gaming the first team? Have you read that comment? I feel like I've butchered that comment up.
What's that? The odd gaming the first teams.
He needs to bring in.
Lee, is it okay if you can rewrite that for?
Yeah. He needs to bring in a striker in from the Championship or Premier League. I'm not quite sure what he means by that. Sorry, apologies. I think he might mean someone who's good enough in League One, but isn't maybe getting the game time at that level currently.
Yeah,
I think maybe possibly.
So that would either be a young striker coming up or a formerly good player who's been put onto the fringe.
Yeah, I'm just going to stop you there because I think we might have some news.
Oh,
Sam Byrne. Oh, never mind.
Oh, don't get me up.
Done us over. It was Sam Byrne who's put something out there, but it's about Teo Adaramola. And he's gone to Bradford City. So I had everyone then. Sorry, he had me as well. I thought it was split to account. It kind of is because it's about a player which is left in January. But apologies if I hyped everyone up. I genuinely thought we had the moment there where the player was going to come in. It's 9:30. We know that a player is coming in, at least one more. We know it's probably going to be an attack-minded player, probably a striker. It's just a matter of time of when it's going to come in. Some people are saying 10 o'clock. That I was saying earlier. Set your alarm for 10 o'clock. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, I don't know how long we plan on going on for this, but I thought we might have had the moment by now, to be honest, where a player would have come in for County. But
we're just talking about like Stockport. We talk about like the proper big signings going around Europe and deadline at the moment. Because I've just seen one big one.
I mean, you can bring in whatever you want. You know, there's no structures to this. It's just
do you remember the
Sports News, is it?
Yeah, did you see the rumours about like João Felix going on loan to Villa from Chelsea?
Got Villa?
Yeah, well, he was linked with like going on loan to Villa, but that's off now. He's joining AC Milan.
I was going to say, I don't know how many loans and signings Villa can bring in at this rate. I think they're signing everyone.
They've just brought in Disasti from Chelsea.
Yeah, good, solid signing for them. Rashford's gone there. Interesting one. Louis Barry's just gone out. You look at it and think, would he have done any worse than what Rashford might end up doing? But anyway, yeah, it's a weird one, this transfer window. It feels like it's not really... It doesn't feel like we've had like a huge signing, but loads of little bits of interesting signings that have been taking place. What is everyone's favourite signing in this January? Well, it's not really a January transfer window, is it, when it ends on February? But the winter window, what would be your favourite signing? We've only signed... Well, we've signed 2, haven't we? But it feels like we haven't really signed anyone, to be honest, because you look at Meek Hamilton, you look at Brad Hills, not Ben, Brad Hills. It remains to be seen. They don't have big track records behind them to, if let's say we got Macaulay Langstaff, like some people suggested, you know that he's got a record of scoring goals, and you go, right, he's going to come in, he's got the experience, he's got the age, he can handle the pressure, he can come in and score goals, and that'll take the sort of the pressure off the other players. But these players coming in, they barely played professional football before, so it's a huge risk, I think.
I mean, the one that sticks out to me is, even though it's Wrexham, the one that sticks out to me is Jay Rodriguez going from Burnley to Wrexham. Yeah, I remember watching him in the Premier League.
Yeah,
like not long ago.
I mean, the money they're chucking around at Wrexham. But to be fair, all the teams above us really. Birmingham obviously did it with Stansfield at the beginning of the window.
Mm.
Huddersfield have spent big as well. They brought in a striker from Luton for 3 million,
Yeah.
I think, this window. They've obviously got the guy from Bolton, Dion Charles, as well. I think they've maybe signed some other players. Wrexham, obviously, as you say, signed players. Wickham, I think, I'm not entirely sure what's happening with them. They've dropped a couple of points recently. Obviously, the manager left. There is talk that their striker could be off as well. I'm not sure what's going on with that. But a lot of teams around us are spending and bringing in players, and it just feels like with County, we're just almost standing still.
And imagine if we went up, it'd be even worse, like 10 times worse.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm sort of looking at that position now and I think we're 5 points off third place where Wrexham are. We can put some serious pressure on them. I know there's a couple of teams behind us have games in hand, but we can put some serious pressure on them. But like you say, if we go up, it might be too soon. Stuart said, look at the Shrewsbury game. What's flick on? Had no runners. Not even Tanto was making runs to receive. It's like he makes runs just from the long ball. Yeah, it does. But to be fair, though, I just feel like the team's sort of a little bit lost in how they want to play anyway. Do we want to play long? Do we want to play along the ground? How do we want our side to play? Because it looks like everyone's sort of playing different ways. I think the interesting one is some of the players that have stepped up recently. Like I think Norwood stepped up and done really well. I almost don't consider him like a summer signing because of how late in the summer he signed, but he stepped up. Salvan
Yeah.
Hale's huge comeback for him. I mean, I think there's a piece on BBC Radio Manchester that you can watch or listen to of his sort of comeback from that injury that he's had. I need to listen to the full of it.
I remember
At some
seeing
point.
something about that.
Yeah, I mean, what he's gone through to sort of come back. At one point, Salvan Hales didn't even think he was going to be able to play football again during that injury, during that period of his injury, and to come back, not only come back and play football again, but stay at counties, keep playing in League One, and he's popped up with some goals recently as well. Where I think he's added 2 goals in his last couple of games, and I think it took him 115. He only had 2 in his first 115 games or something. So he's really stepped up. Fantastic story this season in a lot of ways for County.
I feel like
because sorry, go on.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
Go on.
because you often see now we're playing both Southern Hales and Noyle, so I'm not really sure what the formation we're playing now is. Whether we're playing Noyle at centre back and Southern Hales is like a wing back, but if we're playing Noyle at right back, we've probably got Southern Hales pushing higher up the pitch, like nearly in a sort of wing role.
That's what happened on Saturday. We saw Noyle has been in that sort of right centre half position the last couple of weeks. The game on Saturday, particularly the first half anyway, you saw Tanto push out to the left as opposed to a front two partnership. Wharton down the middle. Southern Hales pushed right up to the right hand side, allowing Noyle to go back to his favoured position at right back. It was a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1 in that first half, and we looked very good in it. And I've got to say, I've not done a match review on the game. Maybe I should start doing them. Who knows? But I was really impressed with 3 particular players stood out for me in that game on Saturday. And Lewis Bate coming back from injury, right up until he got subbed off, thought was absolutely fantastic. Will Collar and Cal Wotton, those 3 were fantastic. I think they were the reason why we won the game on Saturday. So
Collar looked knackered at the end.
Who? Collar.
Yeah.
Yeah, just run into the ground. He gave 100%. He didn't leave anything, on that pitch. So that's what you want from your players. It'll be interesting to see. I think this is what I'm saying. He needs to learn to manage the squad more, Challoner, because these players, they give 100%. They're fully committed, but then that's sometimes when they run out of steam and then run themselves into the ground. I understand Birmingham and Huddersfield having money along with the Saudi/American Wrexham takeover, and we have to compete with it. That's what Panini said. Lee Wood said, "Yeah, well, I don't know. We need investors to buy better players with the chairman." The problem with investors is once you sell a percentage, then someone else comes in, they have a certain amount of stake in the club, then they have maybe a slightly different vision to what Mark Stott might have. That's when it all gets very complicated. The manager will hate being in that position. It's all because then you've got the money, but then you have all the arguments of how to spend it. So
and you have all the stakeholders conflicting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think the reason why we've gone up so smoothly, consecutive promotions, or it feels like consecutive promotions, is because we've had that stability, one person at the top, on the same page with Simon Wilson, Director of Football, on the same page with Dave Challoner. The minute you start to add a couple more people into that, it gets a lot more messy and a lot more complicated. So yeah, I think he's right. I think in some ways, if we want to go up this season, we'll need investment next season. But then that creates its own problems, doesn't it? How many people want to invest a load of money into someone else's vision and not have a say in it? I can't imagine there's many out there. Panini, more down to the fact we are struggling to have fit centre-backs available. Once Horsfall is back, I expect Noel and Macaulay Southernhales to be on the bench. I'm not sure about that. I mean, what I would say to that is if Noel and Southernhales are on the bench, who's playing right back? Because Horsfall will come in for who? Who's going to right centre back? Who's going to right back from that back three? Adramola's gone to Bradford. Yeah, we know about that. Lee Woodwist has said to beat Wrexham and other teams above us, we need to invest. He's also said, did you know we've got 4 goalkeepers? I'm sure we've got 4 goalkeepers somewhere, but
Isn't Metcalf and Kogan, or is Kogan on loan? Can't remember.
I couldn't tell you, to be honest. Where the Hatters has said hello to you.
Hey up.
Horsfall is out for the rest of the Horsfall's out for the rest of the season? Question mark. No, I think he's out for the majority of the season. I think.
Yeah, but he'll probably come back.
Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago, and Chowan said, I think it was might have been before the Crawley game. I think he said he's about 6-7 weeks away. Now, is that 6-7 weeks away from being able to be selected for the games? Is that 6-7 weeks away from being back in training? I don't know. Someone needs to ask Chowan that question. But
I've just seen something very interesting, Rob.
Go on.
I've just seen someone, Phil Cross on Twitter. He's looking at Flight Radar 24, and apparently about an hour ago there was a plane, who he's saying is Mark Stott's private plane, leaving from Lelystad in the Netherlands to Manchester. That's a private plane, so good count. And then there's loads of people saying it counted bringing in a player from the Dutch league.
Yeah, Klaas-Jan Huntelaar.
Sorry?
Klaas-Jan Huntelaar's coming in then.
No, there's actually someone at Volendam called Xavier Tushimanga. I'm not sure if he's related to Tushimanga, who has played for Chesterfield, but imagine.
This is what you're here for. I wouldn't have known that. But there's one to keep an eye on. So I'll trust you to keep an eye on that plane or whatever's happening with that.
No, the plane's landed. It could just be a piss take for all I know, but I'm living off scraps and transfer rumours at this point.
Yeah, come on, it's 9:45. We're getting desperate. We just need something. We need something to say. Right,
please count it.
Need a bloody striker. I'm just gonna say it, because the thing is, I am actually a little bit frustrated with this now, because I feel like we knew Barry was gonna go before the window even opened, and whilst he wasn't a striker, he was a goal scorer. So we just need someone to come in. It's so frustrating, but we haven't got one, because all the teams around us, Wrexham have about 8 goal scorers. We don't really have one. I mean, Tanso's probably the only one, and he's started the season in a bad way, and I don't see him finishing the season as strongly as I think he could have done. He can parachute out as he goes over Edgy Park, saves on the taxi fare. Good point. Yeah, I mean, I was going to say something now.
I once got a taxi from the airport to my house, which isn't even that far. Obviously, the Stockport's right next to the airport. It cost fucking 35 quid in a black cab.
Yeah. I mean, it can't be easy sorting out a transfer this late, especially if you're saying from the Netherlands. It can't be easy sorting out a striker.
Yeah, I don't imagine there's anything in it.
He's not going to have anywhere to stay, is he? He might have to stay at your house. We really need a quality striker to come in. Also, Adai to be replaced. I don't think Adai's going out now. There was a little bit of fear or a little bit of talk about that.
Too late now.
But I can't see that happening. Should get the 199 for £2, saving money every day. I think it's got up to £3 now, actually. Could be wrong.
No, it goes up to £3 like later this year, doesn't it? I think.
Yeah, fair enough. Wickham have brought someone in. They brought in Will Norris. That's just come in.
Oh, where's he played? I can't remember. But the name rings a bell.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you, to be honest. But anyway, he's gone in. Welcoming our new number 50. There's a sentence you don't hear very often,
50.
especially on deadline day. He's obviously been the number 1 choice. Yeah, I just think now, come on, it's getting ridiculous now. I mean, it's got to be a big signing that's coming through the door. It's got to be.
I'm desperate now.
Yeah. Birmingham have signed some Korean defender. Does he
Well,
have a name?
they've got quite a few like East Asian players, like South Korean and Japanese players in the squad.
Does he have a name, or is he just referred to as Korean defender?
It isn't Holy Fook, is it?
Oh, for fuck's sake. There we go. Brought me to swear already. That's that's what's happening.
I mean, why'd you bring me on it?
Because you had the knowledge about the plane. You've got people hopeful now. You've got people tracking planes.
All I did was look on Twitter.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I suppose whilst we're waiting for this player to come in, because I thought we would have had it by now. Imagine if the player doesn't come in after all this.
Yeah, that's what I imagined.
We're waiting for this player. They definitely made it sound like another one was coming in. And I think people are getting impatient. I'm getting impatient. Where's the bloody striker? He won't even be a striker now. It'll be like a goalkeeper. Or we'll have that thing again. County will put some up and it'll be Carabao drink.
Yeah. And then
or
people
maybe that sort of maybe that event that Jimmy Bullard's doing or something. That'll pop up.
Oh yeah.
I mean, at this point, I would take Jimmy Bullard on a 6-month contract. I'm that desperate for a player to come in.
I've just seen here. Sorry.
Go on.
I've just seen here that Leighton Orient have signed Randall Williams from Bolton on a short-term deal. He's a winger.
Yeah, I think I saw something about that happening before. There seems to be a lot more news and sort of leaks around other teams' business. It doesn't really seem like we have much of that, which is on one hand a good thing, but on another hand quite a bad thing, because I would take a little bit of a rumour at this point in time. It's gone really, really quiet, but hopefully it's calm before the storm is what I'm hoping for. I mean, put it this way, I can't see us getting 2 players now. I cannot see 2 players coming in.
No.
Panini said, feels like now we have more chance of bringing in Zlatan on loan than we do anyone else. Hard to disagree with him. This is getting really frustrating now, the lack of anything happening. Like I say, hopefully it's calm before the storm. Hopefully we have got players coming in, or a player coming in. Like I say, it's really underwhelming because they have sort of bigged up this final player that's going to come in, and it can't disappoint. Is what I would say. I mean, again, we're all thinking it's going to be a striker, aren't we? That's what everything sort of points towards.
What should be a winger?
I mean, if it's a goal-scoring winger like Louis Barry, I don't care what side he plays on. I'd take that. That's what we need.
What if it's a Grealish type player?
I don't care. Well, I think Nick Hamilton's probably a bit more in that mould than a goal scorer. To be honest, what would count? What is possible for County to achieve if they had a goal scorer, like maybe, for example, not Madden, but what he offered County last season? Let's say someone that can get 10, 15 goals, sort of back end of the season. Where do you think County can finish if they do get that sort of centre forward and it can add that amount of goals to the side?
Well, sort of around where we are. I imagine the highest would be third, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. The only thing I would say about Wickham is I feel like they might drop off a little bit now. So I feel like almost like Birmingham might just run away with it, and the rest of the sort of positions might just run up for grabs. While you're waiting, the pies have changed and not for the better.
Don't get me started on Spygate.
Are you someone who has pies at the games?
I had one recently. I mean, it was all right, but
was that the new one?
Yeah, the new one, because they got from HM Pies. It basically is a company that employs former in like people who went to prison who can't get jobs. So it gets them employed making food.
That might be where we're getting our striker from.
What, prison?
At this rate, yeah.
Oh, then we'll get Adam Johnson then.
Slightly different situation. Panini said, believe me, we don't want Grealish near this County team. He's shite for City as it is.
I meant a Grealish type player, not Grealish himself.
Yeah. Feels like County transfer strategy was to scout the best pies in Manchester.
We had them and we got rid of them.
Failed that one, yeah. You had some food at hang on a minute. Forget food. Sam Burns tweeted. And the club have tweeted. I tell you what, this might be the moment.
Hang on.
The moment. It's kind of the moment.
What's happened?
The players coming in. I tell you what,
Oh,
It's something's happening. You might be on it before me at this rate.
I'll play it
We've
loud.
all seen that those two tweets go out. We've all seen those tweets go out. Who you reckon the player will be coming in? We've got no idea.
Sean said a little bit early for bedtime, so it don't give anything away. But I don't know
Oh,
how
I'll
long
tell
it's
you
going
what,
to
it's going to
take.
be dead on 10, innit? We're going to be sat here another 9 minutes waiting.
Yeah. Sorry, another 9 minutes rubbing our hands.
Yeah.
Samber fucking he put out a gift.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
I've seen that, yeah. I think other people probably seen it as well. They've got us on strings here. They've got us on strings. I just want to say as well to everyone that is watching this live, do get a like in the video. Always helps.
Please.
And subscribe if you are new. It's amazing if you've managed to last this long, because I thought we would have had our player in by now and it would have been wrapped up and done. John's popped in. Any rumours yet? A little bit late to the party. A lot of the rumours have been squashed throughout the day. We've got no idea who this new striker is going to be. So I've given it away there. New striker, new player is going to be. We don't actually know it's a striker. That's my assumption being mixed in with a little bit of truth. Panini said hopefully time machine so we can redo today's strategy in signing players. Just a whole month really would have been good. So we definitely know something's happening. So I feel vindicated a little bit for sticking through this. And hopefully you guys do as well who's tuned in. What we were saying before that came in, you had some food at Leighton Orient on Saturday.
Yeah.
Any good?
It was decent. Yeah, I had a massive chili cheese dog. I mean, I think they overdid it with the onions. It was nice, don't get me wrong, but they overdid it with the onions because I got bloody onions falling everywhere, like on your shoes and whatnot.
Yeah, part of it nearly ended up on my coat, which I wasn't happy about. So, yeah, weird ground, wasn't it? Weird ground.
Is it? Kind of. I know you were really caught off guard by it, by just how well, the way we went, we got lost. That's my own fault for not checking Google Maps. But we went from like, I don't know, sort of going towards like the east end of it, and it just looked like a load of flats. It was all secluded in, but inside it's proper old school.
Yeah, it was a weird one. It had flats. It looked like it had like a bloody doctors or something in it. Something to do with the NHS anyway. That might have just been for the players to be, if player came off a stretcher. I don't know, but it was different. Like I say, all the flats around that you'd have a decent view. I don't know how much they would have cost to stay in, but yeah, someone's making decent money on those ones, that's for sure. John said, will they be able to play on Sunday? And he's correct himself, Saturday, because we've got Barnsley. I knew that, I just forgot for a split second.
Yeah, it should be able to, because even though the window closes at 11, clubs still have an hour to get like paperwork done.
Yeah, and I think that they're registered, aren't they, as well then? So as long as it's all completed within the deadline, they'll be registered and ready for Saturday. So Brad Hills is available for Saturday, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
But will he start? Probably not. To be honest, let's face it, he'll probably go on the bench. Panini said saw something about a Maccabi player on X.
That's basically. I just saw that. Yeah, saying that County were linked to some player from the Israeli league, but someone commented, "Yeah, that account's just a load of bollocks."
Fair enough. Macca focus on BBC News. What's that about?
Oh, Northwest tonight.
I don't know.
Oh, got dead leg.
Would you even class Barnsley as a big game on Saturday, since we're slightly running away from them in the table? I don't know. It's a weird one, isn't it? When we went to Barnsley away at the beginning of the season, sort of end of September, it felt like a big game at the time.
Yeah.
Now it kind of does feel a bit like, is it that big a game? I think the thing is they're fighting to stay in the top half now, because if they're not careful to drop a couple more points, they could be out of the top half, which is crazy, really, because I do consider them a sort of top half League One team at minimum. But I think that says a lot about how well County have done as well, that we're almost saying Barnsley, who coming into League One, we would have gone big club Barnsley. Now we're sort of ahead of them by quite some distance at the moment. Need to watch out for that Phillips. He's a class player. Or is that, what's his full name? You'll know it. You'll know it. Is it Josh Phillips?
John Phillips or Killian Phillips, isn't
it? Phillips, anyway. He's warning us to watch out for.
Not Calvin Phillips, is it?
No, there's no fear about him. He's not a class player.
Not anymore,
in the words
anyway.
of Pep Guardiola, he was an overweight player. Shall we get a poll going for this incoming signing, hopefully on what we think their position will be, is goalkeeper or striker.
You control the polls, Rob.
I could do, but
Actually, I think I can start. He's on the mod.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're just basically passing time at this point. We know that the player is coming in. So I think everyone needs to sort of strap themselves in. 5 more minutes, I'd say, and then we're going to have that announcement. And hopefully it should be a good one. All this for Carabao energy drink after all. I don't think we need a keeper, to be honest. No, unless Adai goes out, I think that'd be a bit of a shock. Watch this be post to say Adai has gone to MK Dons. It had quite a sort of celebratory theme to it, to be honest. I don't see that one personally. Full time in the Chelsea game as well, just popped up 2-1 to Chelsea.
Getting back.
They must have got it back in the second half. The time's flown by, actually. Watch this. Yeah, so I've just read that comment from Panini. I mean, everyone's done really well to stay going this long, like I say.
Okay, I don't have to start a poll story.
Some people probably want to be in bed by this point, but yeah, we're just waiting for that signing.
Yeah, it's more Twitch I'm familiar on with like starting polls and whatnot, not YouTube.
Yeah, I can start one, but I don't think there's any point. I think we all know that we're minutes away from this signing coming in now or being announced, and I think we are all expecting it to be a striker. Like I say, I'm not bothered if it's a striker or not, as long as it's it's a goal scoring player, whether that be from sort of the wide areas or the centre forward area.
And we've got some random left back from the Scottish Second Division.
Yeah, that would be pretty underwhelming. I can't see that happen. I think they've, even County can read the room better than that. I think the biggest problem County are going to have is whether or not they can actually spell it correctly. Because I think even earlier, I think they made a bit of a mistake. I mean, I'm not that bothered when it's a sign-in, but yeah, are we all disappointed that Adai hasn't met the mark this year? I think that's an interesting question. I sort of don't necessarily agree with the way it was phrased. If I'm being honest, I don't think he's really been able to sort of meet the mark. I think he came in, had a difficult time early on. He had some good games, but he also had some bad games. That happens with a new goalkeeper coming in, doesn't it? Because they're unfamiliar with the defence. That's a huge aspect of being a goalkeeper, is how comfortable you are with your defenders, and that takes time.
And how you communicate with them.
Yeah, it takes time to build those partnerships up, and unfortunately for Adai, he wasn't given that opportunity to build that up because of having a goalkeeper like Hinchliffe behind you. If you're not at it straight away, then you will lose your place. 3 minutes to go, and we're all acting like it's a new year all over again. It does feel like sort of New Year's Eve has that kind of feel to it.
Where's the party poppers?
Ready. What?
Where's the party poppers?
That's what we should have got. We should, maybe next year.
Yeah.
Does it finish? It finishes at 11. The deadline, but I think our business will be done. To be honest, once this one's out the bag. How to mark something on the basis of one game in about 2 months? It wasn't one game in 2 months, though, was it? Look, I think I should have been given more of a go, but let's be fair, he did start the first 10, 12 games, I think it was. All of this, and I guarantee we won't sign anyone. No, we're definitely signing someone. Mark my words. Mark my words. We are signing someone, and we are signing someone.
We've got 1 minute to go.
Within the next
as long as they put it at 10 o'clock. Actually, watch now. They won't even do it at 10 o'clock.
It'll be scheduled. This would have all been scheduled. I bet the media team are already in bed or tucked up with their hot chocolate. I think this has all been a game that they've played with us. I could be wrong, but I reckon they've, as I say, had this wrapped up for a while.
When I thought him just sat here refreshing the frigging phone screen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're all doing that at this point. And then we've got to read it out as well. He seemed decent after the first few games, but there is nowhere to hide in goal. There certainly isn't. That's what I'm saying. He had good games. He had a couple of bad games. That's going to happen. I think the team also had that as well.
Here we go.
We've got to move on. Yeah, we've got to move on.
Sam COSGROVE from Barnsley.
The news is, Sam COSGROVE. So Stockport County just tweeted, if you haven't seen it, we are pleased to announce the sign of striker Sam COSGROVE, who joins us on loan from Barnsley for the remainder of the season. Just before I go into the rest of that club statement, we play Barnsley next. I'm pretty sure he won't be able to play.
No, you can't play against your lone club.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We're just going to read out the club statement now as well. Stockport County is pleased to confirm the addition of Barnsley striker Sam COSGROVE, who joins us on loan for the remainder of the season. The 28-year-old, a League One winner with Plymouth Argyle in 2023, joins to bolster Dave Challoner's attacking options as we look to secure a place in League One, in the League One playoff places in the second half of the season. It tells us a little bit about COSGROVE's career. Schoolboy at Everton, moving on to Wigan at the age of 16. During his time in Athletics, Sam cut his teeth in non-league during loan spells with Barrow, Chorley, Nantwich Town and North Ferriby. After a short spell at Carlisle United, the striker moved north of the border to Aberdeen, joining the Scottish Premiership club for an undisclosed fee. Sam enjoyed arguably the best spell of his career so far, whilst with the Dons, scoring 21 times in all competitions during the 18-19 season, with his 17 league goals that year bettered only by Rangers' Alfredo Morelos, I think it is.
Yeah.
So he's had a decent career, played in the Europa League as well, I think. But yeah, what are your thoughts on that one?
We've got I'm just quoting Sam Burnley because he's quoted Challoner saying, we wanted to bring in a target striker that can link with and he's the stress of Watts and Tanto at the top end. Sam knows the league, very familiar with the league, but we haven't got that. The only runner we have is Olafe, of course.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting one. COSGROVE is not the name I would have had really in my mind. I mean, it's one I've seen the name before. I'm obviously aware of who he is. I'm aware that he is obviously a Barnsley player, and that was before I read it. But yeah, it's not the sign I thought was happening. Panini says, shall we just have a minute silence to the county tweet? That's obviously beforehand. John saying, what's the Twitter post with Dave Challoner meant to mean? I think that was hyping up the tweet. Disappointing that it's a loan. Yeah, I mean, it is, I suppose, in a sense, but we always knew when it was going to be this late in the window, it was probably going to be a loan, let's be honest.
Oh, no, there's a Barnsley fan under county saying, good luck with him, he's wank. I'm not sure if he's taking the piss or whatnot, but...
Yeah, it's a little bit of a surprise one. I wonder if it says... I'm just going to go through the director of football, Simon Wilson's quotes on him as well. So he says, Sam brings us a brilliant profile to complement our current strikers, as someone who has had a physical presence, but who also has a clear movement and makes dangerous runs. He's used to being around end of the season games with meaning, and so will help as we continue to push for a strong finish. We think Sam will fit in well with our group and be ready to impact immediately. Now that is what I want to hear, because that's what I've been talking about. I've been critical of Hamilton, maybe coming in, not having enough minutes, not having that experience behind him to come in and hit the ground running. The same even with Brad Hills as well. But this is a player which is here for the now. This is a player which has got that experience of playing in this league or leagues like this. This is a player which has got experience of fighting for things by all accounts. So I think this is sort of the profile of player. It's certainly the type of age of player that I would like to see come in. I'm glad we haven't gone for an 18, 19-year-old who's been at a Man City or an Arsenal academy and not really played professional football before. So I don't know loads about him because I haven't watched him play loads, but I'm aware of the name. He comes in at a good age for County, and hopefully he can bolster that squad and take the pressure off some of the young lads as well. So what are your sort of initial thoughts on the signing?
Well, I've just looked through the comments and every single Barnsley fan is saying we are so sorry. So that can't be a good sign.
Yeah, I suppose we'll have to wait and see, won't we?
They could show because they've just lost Ben Kill up to Portsmouth. That's centre mid.
Yeah. Yeah, as I say, it's an interesting one. Not one that I would have predicted. CDB YouTuber said, I'm hoping he can just bang in some goals to help with Watts and Tants, hopefully. Panini said he scored 4 league goals in 2 seasons for Barnsley in 51 games.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That is a horrific record. Like I say, it's a little bit of a surprise signing, really. It's not one I would have... it's not one I would have seen coming. Let's be honest, I don't think anyone had an idea of who it was going to be. We all hoped it might have been Macaulay Langstaff for his record at Notts County, but this one was, has really surprised me. It surprised me the profile of the player that we've gone for. But yeah, and it surprised me the player that we brought in. It is a loan, of course, which John's disappointed with, but like I say, I think it was always going to be a loan deal, wasn't it? Given how late on in the window it was. So there we have it then. I don't see us doing any more business. I think that window will slam shut in just under an hour from now, and I think that's our business. I think it's Brad Hills coming in on deadline day, followed by Sam COSGROVE. So that's where we are with that one. I guess we'll have to wait and see what kind of an impact he can have I suspect after Barnsley, as I don't think he'll be available for that game. Has Sam Burns said anything on this one as well?
Yes, he did. Well, he's put another way. He said, just based purely on my own opinion of the COSGROVE deal and DC's comments, I'm getting hope for Richie Bennett at Hartlepool vibes. We know how well that worked out for DC. We feel we can provide service or create opportunities for Sam to show what he can do. He's really motivated.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he's hardly going to say he's really unmotivated, is he? So obviously,
I hope not.
Complimentary statement, but I guess in time we'll see those actions and see if it pans out more than Let's see if the actions match the words that have been put to him. Lee Woodwis has said, "I'm not happy with that," so he's not happy with the signing. Sounds like a lot of Barnsley fans, who, as you've sort of alluded to, are quite.
Yeah, they're laughing at us.
Happy that he's gone. Yeah. Which is interesting. Any chance of bringing someone in with COSGROVE, because 4 league goals for a striker is just going to give me no optimism. I mean, yeah, look, I'm trying to be positive because we've been waiting for this one.
I mean, we had the thing with Odin Bailey. He was proper crap, and then he actually turned out he actually had a good spell.
Yeah. I mean, look, let's be honest. Louis Barry, I know. Look, he was younger, so you sort of forgive it a bit more. But his record at previous loan spells was not great, and he came in and absolutely tore it up. And I think it's going to take some time before we fully get over him going, particularly the goals that he brought to us. So yeah, it does. I said before, didn't I, about it not wanting to be an underwhelming signing, and I suppose when I see that record there, about 4 league goals in 51 appearances or something like that over 2 seasons, it's not great. It does feel a little bit underwhelming, but we'll have to see. Still have to believe. Well, yeah, we'll always believe, and right up until we can see with our own eyes, we'll try and be positive. And like I say, we've always got to get behind players, especially when you first come in. But it doesn't look like he's got the best record behind him, which is interesting. Trying to get him to score will be like getting blood out of a stone.
Right.
Can you get a blood out of a stone 4 times out of 51? Not sure. Still have to believe we'll announce another. I mean, I'm not sure if we will. We've got just under an hour to go.
We have to wait for Sunburn to put some up.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But I don't see it happening now. I'm sure that'll be the end of our business in this January/early February window, I suppose.
We better not announce anyone at like midnight or something. I'd have to go to bed. I've got to work at 6.
The window closes at 11. It'd have to go to emergency. They'd have to be given extra sort of permission to have it done in time. But they get the sort of deal sheets out, don't they? And they get given an extension if they apply in time. I think that probably is our business done. Lee Woodwis has said we need to get one from the Championship or the Premier League. What's at the odd game for the first team? He said that earlier, I think. I'm not sure what's going on with that. A striker, I mean. If we could get one more, where would you pick the position to go for? I want to put that question to you.
I don't even know at this point. Might as well just get Hector Cipriani from Peterborough. He's another one that's like he's got 6 months left on his contract. I mean, he's a like sort of box to box kind of midfield, but you'd play him anywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
get him on the cheap.
It sort of depends on how COSGROVE's going to fit in, doesn't it? Now, because
if he plays,
well, you just don't know, do you? Our record this season of bringing players in and then not really giving them minutes. It could just be another one, but it's a bit of an out there signing. It's a bit of a surprising one for me, actually. Like I say, the age I think is a good age. We're not relying completely on young players, but his record in recent seasons doesn't appear to be that great. So it's an interesting one.
No, I'm sad.
Yeah, but let's see what happens. Look, we're going to wrap it up shortly or soon because we've been going for over an hour now. We do have what I think is going to be the last bit of our business in this window. If something does come in before now and the window closing, then I'll probably go alone because I think Adam's got to get his rest. So yeah, we will cut it short here. So I just want to say a big thanks to everyone who's joined in live, contributed, got involved. And as I say, if something does come in before the window closing, I'll be back on, but I think it's unlikely. So if that is the case, it's been our January transfer window. We brought in 3 players, I suppose, Benoni, Brecker, Anderson, Mika Hamilton.
Brad Hills and Sam COSGROVE.
Yeah, brought in 4 players. I keep forgetting about Bononi. That's the problem. Yeah, so we brought in those 4 players. That looks like it's going to be our business, and that's how we'll go into the second half of the season. But then he said, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but COSGROVE feels like anybody will do signing. But that's the polar opposite of what Dave Chalmers said he was looking for, so we'll have to wait and see what happens with it. But I think a lot of work's obviously gone into it. Whether or not it should have done, I guess we'll find out in time. But yeah, big thanks to everyone. And like I say, do like it if you have enjoyed it. Don't forget to comment as well. Maybe if you're watching it afterwards, who knows? Subscribe if you are new. Thanks, Adam, for coming on as well.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Yeah, anytime. And then, like I say, if anything does happen, I will, I suppose, go back live again for it. But I think that.
Do you know what? I owe it to you for that time I missed it because I fucking passed out.
Yeah. I think it was a match preview I was going to do or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where we're at. We're going to wrap it up. Obviously, we've got the match preview coming up as well later on in the week for the Barnsley game. So yeah, big thanks to everyone. As I say, looking forward to Barnsley on Saturday. I'm not going to it, but I will be doing the pre-match live and post-match live on air. And of course, I will be doing Bristol away on the Tuesday. So yeah, everyone keep their eye out for that one. I'll tell you what, I'll read this out. Adam, next time you're on, remember to turn the lights on.
Is this fucking good enough for you, Lewis? I can't do anything in this room.
Yeah. Well, maybe in the next transfer window, Adam can bring in some new lights. Who knows?
I'll bring in a strobe light or a disco light or whatnot if it helps.
Not sure that'll cut it. But anyway, thanks for watching live, everyone. We are wrapping it up now. So yeah, everyone, big thanks for watching. Barnsley preview coming up later on in the week. Keep your eyes peeled for that one. And it's been your January transfer window wrapped up here, and hopefully everyone has enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.